Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, American Comics. The Girl Next Door is Spider-Gwen. Chapter 1. New York City, Lower East Side of Manhattan. Through the morning mist, sunlight shines into a studio in the attic. In front of the easel, a young man with full charm is leisurely depicting the impression in his mind. A war scene soon appeared on the canvas. Blue's light gate stood on the top of the building. Monster soldiers as many as ants swarmed wildly. Behemoth battleships covered the sky. Dear Big Brother, breakfast is ready, come down. A call came from the attic. Okay, Jessica, just a moment, please. Yi Li replied. Finishing the last stroke in his hand, he took a piece of white cloth to cover the painting. The Battle of New York hadn't happened yet, so the Wim painting couldn't be revealed at the moment yet. Yi Li, he is a time traveler. From the history of Stark Industries and Osborne Group, it can be seen that this should be the Marvel world. So after realizing that he was a common person, he chose to lie down with peace of mind. Save the world, leave it to the superheroes to do it. It's worth mentioning though, although Yi Li is from common, he is not a passerby in terms of interpersonal relationship. At least it should be a dragon suit level with a name. His neighbor to the left is New York City Police Commissioner George Stacy. George has a daughter named Gwen Stacy, who is a few years younger than Yi Li and has been close to Yi Li since she was a child. Then the right neighbor is self-explanatory. 3 people live there: Ben Parker, May Aunt and Peter Parker. Yes, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Yi Li didn't expect that a character he liked in his previous life would run around after him when he was a child. It's not over yet. The girl in the attic just now is Jessica Yi, formerly known as Jessica Con Bell. She was Gwen's high school classmate and friend whose family members were all killed in a car accident. Back then, Yi Li had a brain twitch and adopted her as a cheap younger sister. Later, he discovered that Jessica's familiar life script was the Woman Knight, Jessica Jones. Is the buff fully stacked? As we all know, the survival rate of relatives and friends of superheroes is not high. But Yi Li has managed to survive until now. Maybe it's because Peter and Jessica haven't gone out to be chowing yet. After going downstairs, Yi Li saw that there were already 2 girls eating breakfast at the table. It was Jessica and Gwen. They are all young and beautiful, casually dressed, with delicate faces like illustrations, cute and hot. In addition, the 2 have black long hair and gold shoulder-length short hair. The black-haired beauty and the blonde beauty sit together, which looks very visually impactful. Hi, Gwen, you are here too. Yi Li greeted. Gwen winked at him playfully. The Chinese breakfast you taught Jessica to make is amazing. Obviously, she came here for a meal. Li, come here. Jessica smiled and pulled a chair between her and Gwen. A place they reserved just for Yi Li. There is no need to say more about what is in it. Jessica, it's Li, not Li. Yi Li sat down, made a soup dumpling for each of the 2 girls, and joked to Jessica. We've been together for so long, if you call me wrong, I'll be sad. Hey, Chinese pronunciation is too difficult. Jessica poked her tongue out cutely, correcting her pronunciation. Li. Gwen yelled easily. Hey, Gwen, your pronunciation is really standard. Jessica said in surprise. Gwen smiled. I've been learning Chinese recently. Oh, it's hard. The big brother taught me occasionally, but I still can't speak standard Chinese. Jessica is quick to learn Chinese food, but she doesn't seem to have the language ability. You can learn Pinyin first. I recommend a website to you. Gwen turned on the phone, pressed a URL, and handed it to Jessica, bypassing Yi Li. This is it. Look at it. Her slim figure was unabashedly attached to Yi Li's body. The 2 girls chatted. Yi Li is also used to the physical touch from behind, sandwiched between her pink limbs and slender waist, interjecting a sentence from time to time. As the saying goes, it is delicious. In this somewhat unspeakable atmosphere. He also has a much greater appetite for breakfast. A drawer of steamed buns and a bowl of egg drop soup were quickly finished. My God. Jessica, who was flipping through the webpage, saw a message pop up in the notification bar, and immediately put her mobile phone on the table in front of Yi Li to share. Look at this, superhero, it's so cool. There is a report on the phone. The title says Spider-Man, with a photo attached. Yi Li looked puzzled. Peter made his debut. Why is this color wrong? He clicked on the photo and zoomed in on the screen with 2 fingers. Then I was a little dumbfounded. I saw the Spider-Man in the photo, with a bumpy figure. A uniform of black and white color mixed with purple. The uniform also has a white hood attached. Gwen Spider-Man. No wonder Gwen has gold hair. I just said that something always felt wrong. Didn't expect you to be such Gwen. With mixed feelings, Yi Li turned to Gwen on the left to see her expression. But as soon as he turned his head, his eyes were blinded by something, and a soft feeling hit his face. It turned out that Jessica and Gwen were standing and bending over to read the report on the mobile phone. Only Yi Li in the middle was in a sitting posture. This turn of the head was naturally washing her face. It's okay, leave. I know you didn't mean it. Gwen's fair face was slightly red, and she reached out to cover her chest. It's too quick to be considerate, I'm sorry I didn't say it. Yi Li was speechless for a moment. Since Gwen is Spider-Woman, there must be spider telepathy. So I didn't avoid it on purpose. However, the appearance of the young girl Wei-chun is really attractive. He was admiring Gwen's shyness. Suddenly, a cold and indifferent voice sounded beside his ear. Extraordinary relationship account system has been loaded. System. Yi Li maintained the expression on his face, not too excited. As a traveler, it is normal for the system to arrive late. After quickly sorting out the information given by the system in his mind, Yi Li understood the function of the system. He needs to reach the status of extraordinary relationship account before the system will release the corresponding task. As for the positioning of identity, such as Iron Man's Little Pepper, Little Spider-Man, Peter Parker's friend Ned, or Ben Parker, who gave Peter Parker a heroic belief, etc., they can all be defined as extraordinary relationship household. Fortunately, because of their relationship with Jessica, Gwen and the others, Yi Li has already met this requirement, and now they are waiting to trigger the task. Deliberately, Jessica looked up and asked, "What did you do, Gwen?" She was carefully scrolling through the reports on her phone just now, and didn't notice the close contact between Big Brother and her friend. Gwen put down her hand without a trace. "Lee just accidentally bumped into me." After a vague sentence, she changed the subject. "Jessica, are you interested in ghost spiders?" "Yeah, I think she's cool." Jessica held up a handsome picture of the ghost spider next to her face, and gave Gwen a wink with her left eye. "Don't you think so?" Gwen held back a smile. "Aside from being cool, my dear Jessica, is there anything else?" "Oh. And she has a nice figure." Jessica stroked her chin, and glanced up and down at Gwen. "You look better than your figure, Gwen." Yi Li saw Gwen's face twitch slightly, obviously holding back very hard. It seems that this feeling of, acquaintances praise you in front of you but don't know it's you, is very cool. "Lee, what about you?" Gwen cast her shining eyes on him. "What do you think of ghost spiders?" Praise me. She thought so. Gwen, who has just become a superhero, is looking forward to being praised by her childhood sweetheart next door, the Big Brother. "Oh, you still want me to praise you?" Yi Li is the idea. It has to be said that the two have a tacit understanding. "I think you're in better shape, Gwen." Yi Li said so. "Lee, what are you talking about? Such words are too embarrassing." Gwen's ears were red. She didn't want to be praised in this regard, although she was quite happy to say it. Yi Li said innocently, "Didn't you ask me what I think? Is there no other aspect?" Gwen asked unwillingly. "Convey your views on superhero to Jessica and Gwen, and you can load the novice extraordinary template when you get approval. Here comes the task. Instill the concept of anti-heroes in Gwen and the others." Although Yi Li intends to do this, but thinking that Gwen's father gave her the correct 3-view education since childhood, in order to gain ideological recognition, he still decided to pretend. So he borrowed the famous quote from Ben Parker, "Well, ghost spiders have supernatural strength and use it to help the weak." I think this is very good. After all, as the saying goes, the greater the strength, the greater the responsibility. Note, this is for the needs of the plot. The protagonist said, "The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility." For rewards, it is not the protagonist's real 3 views. Don't say poisonous, drunk. With greater ability, comes greater responsibility. Gwen froze. She used those abilities to teach thugs on the street, and at first she just wanted to test her abilities for fun. Definitely there are also reasons why my police chief father was brought up from an early age. But I didn't expect Lee's opinion of her to be so noble. Do you think so, Lee? While Gwen was a little embarrassed, she also felt light. Is there such a saying? Jessica also shook her hand thoughtfully. The idea was approved by the female knight, Jessica Ye. The idea was approved by Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy. Mission completed. Start integrate to load the novice extraordinary template, Night Spider. Obtain extraordinary ability, Night Amplification. Obtain extraordinary ability, Spider Amplification. Gain extraordinary ability, Flight. Gain extraordinary ability, Spider Telepathy. Obtain extraordinary ability, Static Adsorbent. Bonus Night Spider Battle Uniform. Super Defense, Automatic Repair, Absolute Concealment, Information State Isolation. Bonus Web Shooters Related Research Knowledge. Strength. Powerful power penetrates every part of the body. While feeling completely new in all limbs. A black bracelet quietly appeared on Yi Li's wrist. This is the Night Spider battle suit in the unopened state. In my mind, there is also a wave of research knowledge about web shooters. But he feels that web shooters are useless. Because as long as you want, you can take off in place at any time. At this moment, Gwen suddenly reached out and pressed his heart. Just now, she felt an inexplicable tremor in her heart. Gwen, what's wrong with you? Jessica noticed her awkwardness. I suddenly felt a palpitation. Gwen frowned. Isn't there something wrong with your body? Jessica asked with concern. She pushed Yi Li. Big brother, don't be dumb, help Gwen quickly. Yi Li sat down with her arms around Gwen, guessing in her heart, because I also have spider telepathy. Gwen was shocked. He said softly, Gwen, do you need to go to the hospital for an examination? I'll drive you to the Presbyterian hospital. Dr. Strange, there is my friend. There is no problem in arranging a physical examination right away. Gwen also had some hesitation. She thought of the origin of her ability. That happened not long ago during my summer internship at the Osborne Group. That day, she walked into a laboratory full of spiders, was accidentally bitten by a spider, and after leaving there in a hurry, she found that she seemed to have an extraordinary ability. Now she also has some doubts, whether there is something wrong with her body. Yi Li saw Gwen's uneasy look. It would be good to go to the hospital for a checkup, which can make her feel at ease. So he hugged the princess and picked her up by the waist. Don't be polite to me, come on. Hey, Lee, I'm fine, you don't have to do this. Gwen couldn't laugh or cry. The majestic superhero, Ghost Spider, was treated as a patient by the common people and cared for carefully. What's the matter with some happiness? Presbyterian Hospital, a well-known large hospital in New York City. A modified car that looked more handsome than a sports car stopped at the door, and Yi Li, Gwen, and Jessica got out of the car. To be honest, coming here for a physical examination is really an overkill for the Presbyterian Hospital, but who made him have a wide network? Do we have an appointment, big brother? We don't need an appointment, Jessica. Yi Li took the two girls directly to a department. The medical staff seemed to recognize him and did not stop him. Oh, great painter, why are you looking for me when you have time? Could it be that you were cut by a scraper? In the department, a doctor with a neat short beard greeted Yi Li. He is Stephen Strange, the top surgeon now, and the supreme mage in the future. His character is as badass as Stark. Yi Li had a good relationship with him and sat down naturally. Stop talking, Stephen, I remember I sent you a message. Small matter, I have asked my colleagues to arrange it. Strange handed over a piece of paper on the table. This is the list, just go and register the information. Yi Li passed it to Jessica. Accompany Gwen to check it out, and I'll chat with Mr. Strange for a while. Jessica took the order and complained, it's such a rare opportunity that you don't accompany Gwen, but you want to chat with a man here. Lee, you are so straight. Jessica, what are you talking about? Gwen pulled her away shyly. Yi Li watched the two girls leave helplessly. He doesn't accompany his sister, and chooses to have a BB with this guy Stephen here. Naturally, it was because he wanted to see if it would trigger Stephen's mission. Maybe he could reward a supreme mage template or something. You have to know, Yi, I'm working now, and I don't have chat service. Even though Strange said that, he still chatted. I wanted to get a painting from you when I passed by the Sunnyvale estate last time, but the gate was locked. Why, don't you live there? If you are short of money, I can help you a little, just paint me a portrait. Do you think I'll be short of money? Yi Li rolled his eyes. Besides, I only paint portraits of beauties, so forget about it. Draw body art for those beautiful women. Strange shrugged. He poured 2 cups of coffee from the coffee machine next to him and put them on the table. Sometimes I doubt your professional ethics, Yi. For the sake of this cup of coffee, I don't argue with you. Yi Li fiddled with the cup a few times with a spoon. Strange. So, why did you move away? The location of Soonaville Manor is very attractive to me. Yi Li, it's too deserted over there. I still like the original place, so I moved back to the Lower East Side from the rich area. If you like it, I can lend it to you temporarily. Then if you want to bring the girl back, you will let me get out, right? Correct guess, Stephen, but no reward. Quote. Strange glanced at the direction Jessica and the others left. Why do I think you moved back to the Lower East Side because of those 2 girls? Yi Li couldn't deny it. Maybe. Are they adults? Yi, I won't cover you up. Quote. Yi Li and Strange just chatted with each other. With Strange's current social status, most people don't need him to consult a doctor for surgery, so they chatted for a while. But Yi Li's words were almost worn out, and he didn't see any bee movement from the system. Could it be because Strange hasn't become the supreme mage yet? Leaf, Strange asked while inputting some data into the computer, what do you seem to be expecting? Yi Li, Stephen, do you want to switch to a psychiatrist recently? Oh no, I hate those pretenders the most. Strange pressed an enter key. I just see that you are absent-minded. Your girl has been checked. The data is very healthy, and she can even be said to be strong. I think she is quite slender. I think you should exercise your body, otherwise you may not be able to control young girls. I'm strong too, Stephen. Yi Li got up, ready to leave. Before leaving, he did not forget to remind. Be careful when driving. Strange didn't take it seriously. You always say that like an old lady. Well, you wish for luck. No problem at all, Gwen, your health is very good. Jessica was holding the inspection sheet and shaking happily beside Gwen. Yes, Jessica, I've seen it. There was also a smile on Gwen's face, and she was finally relieved. Out of the hospital, Gwen saw Yi Li waiting for them in front, and walked over briskly. Leaning on the car, Yi Li saw the bright girl and walked towards him quickly. She drew in a pair of bright eyes, closed them gently, and then there was a soft and moist touch on his face. Thank you, Li. Gwen. Yi Li reached out and stroked her smooth blonde hair. I think you seem to have something on your mind recently. I'm just a little confused about some things. Gwen tilted her head cutely. But the problem has been solved. She turned her head to one side and leaned on Yi Li's palm. That's good. Yi Li showed a smile on his face, gently holding Gwen close to him with his hands. The 2 figures intertwined again. Jessica looked uncomfortable. Hateful. After kissing for so long, I don't even have to breathe. Jessica pretended to cover her eyes, but her fingers were wide open. In the end, Gwen was afraid that Yi Li would be out of breath, so she voluntarily withdrew. Li, this feels good. Her face was red, and she stuck out her tongue mischievously, looking very excited. Yi Li thought about it with some pity, but in fact, I can continue. Spider telepathy. Dangerous. Yi Li reacted faster than Gwen, rolling her on the ground with her in his arms. Next moment, a figure with metal wings passed by where they were just now. After a spark was wiped out on the car, it fell to the ground not far away. Fortunately, Yi Li was very aware of the dangers of New York City before, so the car was specially made by someone. At the moment there is only one more scratch on the car, no serious damage. Gwen sat in his arms and touched her head in doubt. Why didn't that one respond? Did I get confused? Yi Li turned his head to look at the birdman who fell in the distance, and quickly found his information in his mind. Ed Ryan Toombs, the supervillain in Spider-Man, a former famous electronic engineer, Blacken, who was framed by capitalists and imprisoned, became the criminal, Vulture, by relying on the homemade flight armor. It doesn't look like the flight controller failed and fell down, but was sent flying over. But isn't Gwen right next to him? Which superhero beat him up? Yi Li looked curiously at the direction he came from, which was a building. In front of one of the broken floor-to-ceiling windows, a bald man in a suit with an unusually strong figure just turned around and left. Lee, Gwen, are you okay? I'm scared to death. Jessica ran over. Gwen recovered and replied, we are fine, Jessica, thanks to Lee. Yi Lee leaned close to Gwen's ear and whispered, Gwen, I think we should leave here first. Well, let me get up first. After sitting up, Gwen looked at Vulture, who had relaunched in the air. Obviously it should be me protecting Lee. She puffed up one side of her mouth angrily. When I change into the battle suit, I'll take care of you flying around. Jin Bin. Vulture didn't pay attention to the two passers-by he almost killed just now, but roared in the direction of the building. Under the turbo boost on the wings, he quickly jumped in again. Yi Lee narrowed his eyes slightly. Vulture, Jinbin. That night, on top of the brightly lit tall building, the dark hero stands here, with the hem of his clothes fluttering in the wind. It was Yi Lee who was wearing the Night Spider combat uniform. The color scheme of the Night Spider battlesuit is similar to that of the Venom Spider, but there is an extra windbreaker with a hood on the outside. From this point of view, it looks like a couple model of the Ghost Spider battlesuit. And this thing will also play passionate BGM internally, which makes him always feel like going to the wrong Kamen Rider set. Okay, let me see where you are. Yi Lee floated up from the roof of the building. The battlesuit's built-in detection system and spider telepathy quickly found Vulture, who was robbing the bank. If he and Gwen weren't from Kamen, this guy's fight with Jinbin would have killed them both. So Vulture and Jinbin, he has to settle accounts one by one. With the sound of breaking wind, he quickly came to the bank that Vulture robbed. But someone came earlier than him. It's a ghost spider. Gwen. Yi Lee saw that she and Vulture had already exchanged hands. Gwen had just become a superhero not long ago, so he was inexperienced, and his hands were tied up in fights. The cobweb was always cut off by Vulture's sharp metal wings, and he had to be distracted to save the common people. Under the preoccupation with each other, he was about to be injured. Meddling spider. Vulture's metal claws clawed viciously at Gwen, within inches of her arm. In the blink of an eye, Black's figure fell down, and the device on Vulture's body made a rattling sound, and sparks sputtered out. He was directly stepped on the ground by Yi Lee's Tianxiang kick. The knight's increase plus the spider's increase is not 1 plus 1, but a geometric multiple increase. On the basis of Jessica's Woman Knight template, the Ghost Spider template is multiplied. If Yi Lee hadn't saved his strength, Vulture would have been trampled to death. Who is that? The crowd who fled to the distance to watch were surprised. They recognized the Ghost Spider who had emerged recently, but who is this black exclusive version of Spider-Man? Ghost Spider's partner? Obviously not. Gwen was surprised to see that Vulture was suddenly stepped on the ground. Please, may I ask, who are you? She took the courage to walk in and said, thank you for helping me, are you a superhero too? In fact, she still has a question in her mind, why do you dress like I belong to the same series? Yi Lee turned on the voice-changing device of the battle suit, and said in a low voice, you can call me Spider-Man. That's right, he shamelessly preempted this title. Spider. Gwen was dumbfounded, can I still show some face? It's fine to pirate my battle suit, and even grab the title. If it wasn't for this weird guy who saved her just now, she would feel like complaining. You. At this time, Vulture did not forget to show its presence under Yi Lee's feet. Yi Lee didn't talk and pretended to be a master, but just exerted force on his feet, letting Vulture know what it means to judge the situation. Ah, I was wrong. Forgive me. Vulture felt that the broken ribs in his chest were pierced a little deeper, and quickly put away his rebellious appearance, begging for mercy. I took the person away. Yi Lee greeted the Ghost Spider, hooked his foot, picked up Vulture, and stretched out his hand to hold it. Wait, where are you taking him? Ghost Spider quickly said, you should hand him over to the police station. I'm not a vigilante. After leaving a sentence, Yi Lee flew into the sky with the Vulture, and disappeared into the night amidst the loud noise of the windbreaker. Hey, Gwen under the mask was helpless, it was too late for her to catch up. On the roof of an empty building. Bump. Yi Lee threw the wounded Vulture to the ground, crossed his arms and asked, do you know where Jin Bing is? Jin Bin. Tombs's mind turned sharply, so this guy is actually looking for gold. He couldn't help cursing inwardly, Jin Bin, he hurt him so badly. Counting the previous account, he vowed to kill him. Answer my question. The indifferent voice came again. What are you looking for gold for? Vulture's eyes flickered, and if Yi Li was looking for Jin Bing maliciously, he would tell everything he knew without saying a word. Teach him a lesson about not littering the streets. Yi Li said something lightly. Stranger, even if Vulture wants to complain, Jin Bing is the king of the underground, so you want to teach him a lesson for littering. The World Environmental Protection Organization is run by your family, right? Vulture didn't know that the trash Yi Li was talking about was actually him. He thought for a while and said, I said, will you let me go? I have limited patience. Yi Li twisted his neck and was about to make a move. Okay, let me say, you're a brutal guy. Vulture figured it out. This dark guy was not the same kind of person as Spider-Woman at all, he was very ruthless. Jin Bing and I also have a grudge, I can go to him with you. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, maybe I have to wait for my injury to recover. So you don't know Jin Bing's location? There seemed to be a cold light under the mask of Yi Li's battle suit. If this is the case, you are useless. No, I know, Vulture quickly said. If you are going now, I can provide you with a few locations. He may be active in these places, but as soon as possible. I caught him once today, his activity's scope is subject to change. Yi Li silently noted down these positions, glanced at Vulture and was about to turn around and leave. At this moment, a message suddenly appeared in my mind. You defeated Gwen Stacy's enemy of fate. As her relationship, you can choose one of the following rewards. 1. Monetary reward. $1 million. 2. Random reward. Figures from the Captain America collection. 3. Servant reward. Transform Ed Ryan Toombs and get an absolutely loyal subordinate. Are there any rewards for defeating supervillains? Is there any mistake? I'm just a relationship account with superhero. As a relationship householder, shouldn't the task be to be a common man with no power to do odd jobs under the brilliance of superheroes or to give heroes a warm haven? What's going on? Yi Li, who had just disabled Vulture, thought so without compulsion. Think about it, if Iron Man was wearing his precious battle suit and he was about to go for a big fight, and Pepper said to him, Hey, Tony, I have already dealt with the enemy, stop flailing around in the Iron battle suit, hurry up, get me back to work. Gosh, then the Iron Man movie is going to be renamed Iron Man. This extraordinary relationship account system is not very serious, it is the rhythm that requires me to do it for me. Although complaining, Yi Li still glanced at the reward seriously. Maybe it's like the difference between doing NPC missions in online games and spawning monsters in the wild. Compared with the rewards for triggering Gwen's missions, the rewards for his behavior similar to actively spawning monsters don't seem to be good. $1 million. That's a lot for the common, but he doesn't care much about money. Captain America collectible figure. Phil Coulson of Snake and Shield would love it. Vulture's absolute loyalty. Why do I want the loyalty of a wretched uncle? Well, I can have one more handyman. After a lot of thinking, Yi Li made a choice. Choice 3. Toombs, at least as a former electrical engineer, is far more useful than the first two options. Vulture, who was originally relieved, saw Yi Li suddenly stop and turn around, and his heart ached again. Just as Vulture was about to say something, his sanity began to blur. Then he, together with the battle suit on his body, turned into a stream of data and disappeared. This is, according to the system information. Yi Li opened the console on the wrist of the battle suit and pressed it. I saw the data flow reconverging, Vulture reappeared, and the armor was still intact. This is different from what I thought. Ganqing's so-called absolute loyalty has been transformed into a summoned object. In a few days. There is a notebook in front of Yi Li, browsing some information on the internet. That night, Jin really changed the activity area. He searched all the places mentioned by Vulture but found nothing. So he, who is Shanyu, plans to let it go for a while, and show the Underground King some color when he has a chance. After all, they had never met face to face, and he didn't have a deep understanding of the festival. Oh, big brother, you are also following this news. Carrying a small black shoulder bag, Jessica bent over to Yi Li's computer. The black spider that appeared a few days ago looks very similar to the ghost spider. I suspect they are a couple or something. Yi Li was helpless. He clearly stated that he was a Spider-Man, but how did he become a black spider in the mouth of the media? He's not the little black spider like Miles. Jessica was still chattering in her ears, but he is very mysterious. The super criminal vulture who almost hit us that day disappeared inexplicably. Some people said that he was killed by the black spider. I heard from Gwen that her father has a lot of opinions on this matter, and thinks that criminals should be handed over to the police, and others have no right. Jessica, if you don't go to school, you will be late, and you don't want to be like this on the first day of school. Yi Li raised the black ring on his wrist, which showed the time. Well, your new watch is very nice. Jessica poked her head sideways at his face and left with a smile. Then I'll go first. Remember the party tonight. Gwen will be there too. Don't worry, you must be there. Yi Li waved at her. After seeing off Jessica, he glanced at the news in recent days. Story Stark hasn't become Iron Man yet. Super criminals are so rare these days. No enemy of fate was found for Gwen or Jessica. Yi Li turned off the screen in disappointment, and decided to give up the plan to farm monsters. Rather than exhaustingly fighting with supervillains to collect rewards, wouldn't it be beautiful to find a relationship with a future superhero, do a simple task, then load a template, and honestly be a relationship account? Yes, he is that lazy. Maybe it was a bad habit in the past few years. Midtown High School. Gwen, I think you seem to be in a bad mood. Have it. Gwen took out a small mirror and smiled at it. It's normal, I don't have a frowning face. It's your appetite. You eat so much recently, you can compare with me. I heard that you will overeat when you are in a bad mood. Quote. Jessica seriously reminded, don't eat too much at the party tonight, or you won't look good if you lose shape. Quote. Gwen is very innocent. Fighting criminals is hard work, why not eat more? But she couldn't speak out. Thinking of something that troubled her recently, Gwen said, Jessica, you have also seen the report of the black spider. Because of the black spider, Dad doesn't like the ghost spider very much. What does this have to do with you? Jessica hugged Gwen's shoulder and said with a teasing smile, are you also a fan of ghost spiders? Fans? Sort of. Gwen said reluctantly. I am my own fan or something. It's too shameful. Gwen is also a fan of ghost spiders. Jessica has an idea. On the phone, she started typing to send a message to Big Brother. The other side, 5th Avenue in Manhattan, in a luxuriously decorated advanced studio. Dr. Banner, I'm not close to the studio from home. Looking at the man who visited him, Yi Li tried to calm down and said, I usually come here once or twice a week, so I hope you are not joking with me. Do you really want to learn painting from me? That's right, sitting in front of him is Bruce Banner, aka the Green Titan. Although he was confident that he could fight Hulk who hadn't strengthened to a certain level, he was also afraid that the green guy would come out and tear down the studio. This is why he chose to meet at his nominal workplace instead of at home after receiving the news. If it wasn't for the system, Yi Li wouldn't want to see this doctor at all. To be honest, he regrets it now. Although the Green Titan template is fierce, it hinders the appearance of the city. It doesn't matter if you can't move your clothes, but your whole body is green. Moreover, to get acquainted with Banner, it is not a short-term thing to be defined as Banner's extraordinary relationship account by the system. Without this identity proposition, the task of Banner cannot be triggered naturally. Yes, Mr. Yi Li. Banner looked a little decadent. It is said that the art of painting can calm people down. I want to try it. If you're emotionally unstable, I think you should see a doctor more. Yi Li is not worth it. Painting can indeed cleanse the soul sometimes. But it can also make you more and more irritable. Like Vincent Wilhelm van Gogh, everyone knows that. Dr. Banner, do I need another example? Banner nodded. I know it might not work. But I've tried a lot of ways to control my emotions, and I have nothing to lose by trying this again. You have no loss, I may have a loss. Yi Li was about to say something when the phone beeped. Only messages from Jessica and the others will be set as reminders, so he casually picked them up and took a look. It was from Jessica. Lee, I want to create a Ghost Spider fan club. Don't you also like ghost spiders? Can you help me draw a poster of ghost spiders? I plan to announce this at the party tonight. Hey, Gwen is also a fan of ghost spiders, I will definitely scare her. I guess she will be really startled by you. Yi Li has to admire Jessica for her many tricks. Gwen is a fan of ghost spiders. Hee, it's really interesting. He turned to the computer beside him with great interest. If you want to make a big poster at night, you can't do it by hand, you have to use software to assist. Banner, I promise. While operating the computer, Yi Li said, you will be my assistant for a while, until you feel that it is useless. Banner smiled, thank you, Yi. You're welcome. Free labor is not in vain. The perspective returns to Midtown High School. Gwen and the others have already started class. The lecturer on the podium was a middle-aged man with a broken arm, his name was Kurt Connors. The level of a professor of biology has given him unique insights into some knowledge points, and he can speak like a fish in water in class. Gwen listened very carefully. During the summer internship at the Osborne Group, she studied with Dr. Connors. Jessica next to her was absent-minded, still fiddled with her mobile phone, replying to the message Yi Li just sent. Yi Li, I'm already working on the poster, I'll take it with me at night. Jessica, it's rare that you are not so lazy, big brother. Yi Li, I have a good helper here, he is a genius, he can learn everything very quickly. Jessica, thank you for that helper, and thank you, Li, I can reserve a position for you as the vice president of the club. Yi Li, wait a minute, I remember you were in class at this time. Jessica, hey, Yi Li, put down the phone. Jessica, it seems I have to teach you well. Big brother is too cunning. Jessica put down her phone in distress, and was about to be spanked when she went back. Gwen tugged at her, Jessica, it's rare for Dr. Connors to give a lecture. I think you should listen. She raised her clean chin slightly, and motioned to a boy in front, look at how seriously Peter is listening. Cut. Jessica puffed her lips, that nerd, I had to save him when Thompson bullied him. After class, Peter Parker ran to greet Connors, Dr. Connors, I didn't expect you to come to our school to teach, it's great. During the summer internship, he also studied with Dr. Connors, and his performance was much better than Gwen. Excellent. Peter, I'd be happy to teach you too, but I think you've misunderstood. Connors explained with a smile, I only give lectures occasionally, not for a long time. After all, I still have projects to research in Osborne. How's it going? Peter Parker became interested as soon as he talked about the research. Peter, Gwen also came over at this time, I think it's not very good for Dr. Connors to talk about Osborne's research project here. Hey, Gwen. Peter greeted her shyly when he saw her coming. It's okay Gwen, it's not a secret project. Connors picked up the briefcase and laughed at himself. Broken limb reborn by transplanting lizard genes is too crazy, most people don't care about it, they just take it as a joke. If it's you, Dr. Connors, it will definitely work. Gwen encouraged empathetically. Although she knew little about Connors' research, she didn't think it was a whimsical idea. After all, she has acquired an incredible super ability. Peter also said, yes doctor, I can help you. Although I should decline you. Connors laughed, but I thought, I really need your help, you're a genius, Peter. The common man version of Peter Parker is smarter than the Spider-Man version. When he was in Osborne, he not only learned, but even gave Connors a lot of useful advice. My research room is always open for you. Connors left this sentence to Peter and was about to leave. Before he left, Gwen invited, Dr. Connors, there is a party tonight, are you interested? That's a youth thing, Gwen, and I'll leave it alone. Okay, you go slowly. After sending Connors away, Gwen smiled at Peter Parker again. Peter, don't run away from the party tonight, there are many female students coming, maybe there is one you like, I can introduce it to you. Peter was her neighbor since she was a child. Although she didn't have the same feelings for Yi Li, she still hoped that this friend would be more cheerful. Okay, I will definitely go to Gwen. Peter ran away as if fleeing. Jessica came out from behind Gwen at this time. Gwen, there is a special event at the party. Special event. ... Time soon came tonight. The place where the party banquet was held was Yi Li's Soonaville Manor. Jessica is one of the sponsors, and the other funder is Harry Osborne, son of the Osborne Group. When Yi Li arrived in his fancy modified car, the inside was already in full swing. Let me see what Gwen's face will look like when she sees this. He took out a very long scroll from the trunk of the car with mischievous taste, brought 2 small gifts, and walked straight in. Teacher, although Jessica didn't say it, I guessed that you would come. Instead, it was Harry who greeted Yi Li first. For a while, Yi Li tutored his art class. Harry, we haven't seen each other for a while, are you missing art class? Yi Li looked at Harry in a casual suit with a very relaxed expression, probably because he hadn't experienced the Green Goblin incident yet. Norman Osborn is Green Goblin, time to beat him up. Harry didn't know that Yi Li wanted to beat up his father, so he chatted and walked in with him. You know, besides the courses, I have to learn how to manage a company, and I really don't have time to spare. I don't have Peter's brain. Quote. Peter, yes, Peter, is there a problem? No, I mean, he's there, and it's not doing well. Yi Li pointed to the front. Party banquets are held in the room. And Peter, who was holding a video camera, was stopped outside by a short gold man with a few younger brothers. Hey, Peter's here. The classic school bully character in Spider-Man, Lightning, Thompson taunted Peter with disdain. What are you doing here, little trash? There's a party here, not where you should be. A boy in black next to Thompson echoed, there is no garbage collection here. Thompson waved his hand, Milieu, go home, or stay and do my homework for me. I'm here to party, Thompson, you can't do that. Peter was so angry that he wanted to swing the camera on Thompson's head, but unfortunately he didn't dare, and he was reluctant. Camera. Oh, who invited you, an idiot? Thompson made things difficult for him with a flabbergasted expression. A lot of people, Peter said. Gwen, Jessica, Harry, they all invited me. Yes, Thompson, we all have Peter. Harry walked over at this moment, frowning at Thompson. You'd better get out of the way. Hey, the guy who only hides behind others. Seeing one of the organizers approaching, Thompson didn't want to get into trouble, and turned around to get out of the way after mocking Peter. But when he turned his head, he saw a kind smile facing him. Student Thompson, where do you want to go? Yi Li glanced at the direction of the gate of the manor and signaled, remind you, the exit is over there. Oil, what do you mean? Thompson felt a surge of pressure from Yi Li. I mean, snapped. Yi Li snapped his fingers. After a few seconds, hey, you can't do this, hey. Thompson kept kicking his 2 thick legs, and was dragged out by 2 burly men in suits with 1 arm each. Several of his younger brothers also ended up in the same way. Okay, don't waste your time here. Yi Li lifted the scroll in the handle, showing an inexplicable smile. I still want to give Gwen a surprise. Harry's expression also softened, and he glanced at the poster and asked, is this the teacher's new masterpiece? For Gwen. Almost. Yi Li asked, where's Gwen? According to Gwen's temperament, it is impossible for her to watch Peter being bullied here. Jessica pestered Gwen before and dragged her to a room on the 2nd floor for some reason. Harry explained this to Peter as well, hoping he wouldn't think about it. Okay, I'll go find them, you take Peter in first. Yi Li also greeted Peter. Peter, have fun, don't think too much. Peter responded, not knowing what he was thinking. Seeing this, Yi Li didn't say much. Peter is a big boy, not a girl, so there is nothing to enlighten. Let Peter's good friend Harry, to appease his young and fragile heart. Yi Li carried the poster on his shoulders. Humming a light tune, he leisurely came to the 2nd floor. Spider telepathy scanned and found out the room Gwen and the others were in. Oh, number 201, here I come. Room 201. Gwen, who was pressed by Jessica, trembled, and that feeling came again. What's wrong, Gwen? Jessica paused, and asked worriedly, did I hurt you? She thought it was because she didn't control her strength well and hurt Gwen. No, Jessica. Gwen stroked her chest suspiciously. It's the palpitations that I felt a few days ago, but this time it's not so strong. It's a bit like being teased by someone. Yeah, Jessica looked suspiciously. Didn't she check it last time? She suspected that Gwen just didn't want to wear clothes. Turned at the heartstrings, she snorted disdainfully. Do you still want to say that after being teased, you thought of Lee, and he will come to rescue you soon? Where, how can there be? Gwen covered her face in embarrassment. She did think of a hot boy. But Jessica thought that her lie had been exposed, so she sneered and sped up her hand movements. HMPH, Gwen, stop struggling, you can't escape from my palm. Oh no, Jessica, why am I wearing this? Your figure is perfect. Come on, put it on and you'll be the prettiest girl at the party. Don't you like ghost spiders too? Hurry up. Just when Jessica Yuliu was excited. Ahem. Yi Li's voice came from outside the door. Jessica, are you in there? I want to come in. Jessica. Gwen. This. Jessica looked at Gwen below her. A smirk quickly flashed across her face, and she said loudly, you can come in, big brother, come in as you like. Click. Yi Li quickly unlocked the door and walked in with lightning speed. The scene in the room stunned him. It's not because of Gwen's seductive posture with half-undressed clothes, snowy skin, moist eyes, and scattered gold strands. Well, there may be a little bit of this factor in it. But more importantly, why is Gwen wearing the ghost spider's battle suit? She exposed. Seeing Yi Li in a daze, Jessica thought he was bluffed by Gwen's fake cosplay. So she smiled slyly, put her hands on Gwen's shoulders and pushed her forward. Big brother, look what I found. Spider-Gwen. Gwen quickly denied, I'm not, I haven't, don't listen to her nonsense. She waved her hands innocently, and didn't even care about leaking the spring on her body. Definitely, it's because she doesn't mind being physically admired by Yi Li. A large area of white and flawless skin dangled in front of Gwen's eyes, and Yi Li couldn't take his eyes off it. He touched his chin and said righteously, I think it needs to be verified, it needs to be verified. Woo, Li, Jessica is bullying me. Gwen pursed her mouth to complain, and opened her hands coquettishly for a hug. Yi Li definitely hugged her tenderly, enjoying her soft and firm body. Jessica, don't bully Gwen. Jessica stared, her mouth bulging like a goldfish. Bah. You forget your sister when you see her. Yi Li held Gwen in one hand, and pinched Jessica's nose lightly with the other free hand. Don't pretend to be with me, I haven't settled the matter of you playing with your mobile phone in class. Oh, that was an accident. I was so distracted that I didn't notice the class. Jessica looked at Gwen who was holding Yi Li like a koala. I don't usually do this, do I? Gwen. Gwen just blinked innocently and didn't speak. Gwen, you took revenge on me. How could Jessica not know that she was holding revenge? So what are you guys doing? Looking at the seductive Gwen in her arms, Yi Li couldn't help but licked her snow-white neck. Yeah, Gwen pretended to be Nanuo, and continued to act coquettishly. Jessica forced me to wear this suit. Li, you have to teach her a lesson. As she said that, she looked at Jessica and said, hit her Pigu. Hey, you can't do this. Jessica knew what she had to do, otherwise she might be mixed doubles by dogs and men. She jumped behind Gwen and zipped up the unzipped back of Gwen. A full body except without the mask ghost spider is rendered. I have to say that the set of cosplay clothes she found has a high degree of restoration. Look at Big Brother, Gwen wears this, really looks like it. Jessica pressed Gwen to Yi Li's body with one hand, stretched out two fingers with the other hand and gestured, yeah, to her face, with a slightly sinister smile on her face, and said, Gwen and Ghost, you like double happiness, Spider. Jessica, what are you doing? Gwen is ashamed, and now the situation is. Yi Li sat on the edge of the bed, and the two girls sat in his arms. Gwen faced him, pressed against Jessica. And Jessica is pressing behind Gwen. Very interesting pose. Twice as happy, Jessica. Yi Li hugged Jessica together, and said with a smirk, I think adding you is double happiness. The slender waists of the two girls combined were not too wide, and they were surrounded by one of his hands. Li, you can't, I'm you. It's just about beating Pigu. Isn't it right for me to teach you a lesson? Jessica was slightly taken aback. It turned out that she was beating Pigu, she thought. No, wouldn't he be beaten? Snapped. Good fight, Li. Gwen clapped her little hands and cheered, and the boat of friendship capsized as soon as it was said to capsize. Snapped. Woo, Li, why did you hit me? Sorry, Gwen, it went wrong. In a while, Jessica clutched Pigu. Her eyes were filled with resentment, she was still beaten. Snort. She glanced at the scroll that Yi Li put on the table, and reached out to take it. Show me the poster, I got beaten for that. The wide poster is very long when unfolded. Jessica is already quite tall, but she has to raise her hands to fully open them. Oh, very good. It seems I have not been beaten in vain. The poster shows the night scene of New York under the neon lights, with vigorous silhouettes swaying cobweb in the building. Under Yi Li's processing, the black and white and purple uniforms look very bright, and the handsome posture makes people unable to take their eyes off. There is also a cool font below, with the words, Ghost Spider, written. I can't say how artistic it is, but it is in line with the aesthetics of young people, and it is perfect for calling people to join the fan club. Ghost Spider poster. What are you trying to do? Gwen realized something was wrong. This is to let her cosplay again, and to prepare such a dazzling poster. The theme of tonight's party is superhero. Jessica compared her thumbs up and said excitedly, Gwen, I'm going to start a Ghost Spider fan club. Announce it tonight. Gwen. The party downstairs has entered a feverish stage. Someone noticed a makeshift stage built in the innermost part. Therefore, many socially obsessive people take the initiative to perform talents on stage, mostly to attract girls they admire. Mechanical dance, street dance, funny shows, and beatbox rap brought the atmosphere of the party to a climax. There are even hot girls who want to perform a striptease. But it was stopped by Harry on the grounds that they were not the right age. This made the boys in the audience feel very sorry, and they all complained in their hearts that Harry was not interesting. Harry was also thinking of Peter. Peter was chatting with Mary Jane Watson from Jessica's band, and he would be embarrassed if there was any exciting performance on stage. Jessica. Jane, don't hang around outside, come to the stage, our performance is about to start. Mary Jane saw the message on her phone, smiled at Peter and got up. Peter, I'm sorry. Jane. Peter watched Mary Jane walk away reluctantly. A chubby man took over Mary Jane's place and sat down. Peter, it doesn't look like you're doing well in battle. Think about it, isn't it a good thing that Thompson got a lesson today? Chapter 11. It's Lee's credit, and I didn't do it. Peter was much more open about this. Buddy, Ned, where did you go just now? There's a girl named Cindy Moon, she's so beautiful, and the complexion matches me. Ned spread his hands, but she seemed to be in a bad mood and ignored me. Peter fiddled with his video camera. Lee taught me a sentence of Chinese, how to say it. We are not the same. Oh, Peter, she's really an angel. Brother Ned Pig said, her status in my heart is comparable to that of Spider-Woman. Come on, Ned, that's what you said the last time you saw Betty. During the conversation between the two, the curtain of the stage was drawn suddenly. The lively and noisy voices under the stage fell silent, followed by voices of doubt. What's wrong? Whatever you pull it on, we can still be high all day long. Is it the grand finale? Quiet, quiet. Harry stepped onto the stage to host and said that the Mary Jane's band would play next. Betty and the others are also on stage. That's great. Oh, come on, Mary Jane. Will Stacy appear? I haven't seen her just now, so she didn't come. Jessica, Jessica. The audience became enthusiastic again, shouting their favorite names one after another. The members of the Mary Jane's band are quite popular in school. Especially Jessica, because she is a cool and handsome character in school. She not only has many male fans, but also many girls call her. But the curtain opened again, and it wasn't the girls from the band on stage, but a very handsome man. He held an electric guitar in his hand, and his smile was so gentle that the adolescent girls couldn't move their eyes. A girl with short black hair in the audience asked strangely, who is he? Where is my Jessica? He looks so handsome. Another mixed-race girl next to her smiled and shouted to the stage, cheer up handsome. The short-haired girl said firmly, Sky, although I admit that he is handsome, but I still want Jessica, I won't be straightened. People around also started to discuss. I seem to have seen him just now, walking towards the second floor with a big stick. I remembered, isn't this teacher Yi Li? He has taught a few times in school, and he has a doctorate in art at a young age. Oh my god, it's fine if the freshmen don't know, what's going on with you seniors? Hey, he probably didn't come a few times, how could I remember? Behind the scenes, Gwen, who was wearing a cosplay suit, had a complex expression on her face. How did things turn out like this? Her current mood is like a spider's web, anxious, happy, awkward, happy, all kinds of emotions are intertwined. It turned out that her friends, classmates, and Lee were all so supportive of her. Gwen, stop hesitation, get ready. Jessica put on a hood for Gwen. The big brother has already gone to the front to help us delay for a while. It is said that people who study art are tone deaf. I don't know if he can do it. In front of the stage, the girls shouted excitedly, "Handsome guy, play one more song." The boys also applauded vigorously, "It's really great." Yi Li made an okay gesture, "Thank you for the invitation, I will bring you another song, To the End." To the End until the end in Spider-Man, Parallel Universe, the BGM where Spider-Gwen kicked Dr. Octopus. Just when the audience was expecting, the curtain closed again. Haven't waited for them to react. Gwen pulled apart. There are already a few more girls with various musical instruments around Yi Li, posing a cool boss, surrounding him in the middle. It was Jessica Ye, Mary Jane Watson, Betty Brant, Glory Grant and other band members. "My God, he's so classy," Ned exclaimed excitedly. "Lee is still so powerful." Peter picked up the camera and took a few shots, wondering, "Where's Gwen? I remember she's the drummer of the band." "Good evening, everyone." As the host, Jessica took a step forward and said confidently, "I know you are all looking forward to it, but before the show, I want to announce one thing first, and this is the most important thing in this party." Hearing what she said, someone shouted, "Jessica, could it be that you have a boyfriend?" "Hey, shut up, you. Watch it." Jessica raised one hand, pointed handsomely, and a large poster came down on the side of the stage. "The thing I want to announce is, I'm going to start a Ghost Spider fan club. Everyone is welcome to join." "What? Ghost Spider fan club? This is so cool. I didn't expect that Jessica is also a fan of ghost spiders. This is great. Most teenagers have no resistance to superhero, let alone a ghost spider with a model and a graceful figure." This news was already a big news for them, and the audience exploded in an instant. This is what Jessica wanted. Now, the show begins. Yi Li understood and took the lead in playing. It starts with something from beginning to end. Quote. "It's unreal, like a dream of the unconscious. Didn't look out below, the process is beyond your control." After a few lines of lyrics, suddenly the lights came together on the stage, illuminating the ghost spider in front of the drum kit. At the same time, a drum sound joined the performance, as if injecting soul into the tune. "I buy it. Ghost Spider." The audience screamed. "No way, Gwen's real cosplay is too similar." There was a smile on Gwen's face under the mask, and an emotion filled her heart, because the little annoyance that her father didn't approve of disappeared. After the show, Gwen walked to the front of the stage, took off her headgear and lightly shook her blonde hair. "Thank you for appreciating." The audience instantly boiled. "So Gwen is a ghost spider. My God, my two goddesses are actually the same person. Fool, you are too into the show, this is acting." "But Gwen cosplays so well. I used to like Jessica the most, but now I'm a fan of Gwen." "Don't you like ghost spiders the most? I mean at school. You are too naive, children only make choices." At the party banquet, there was a lot of noise. Yi Li and his group went to the dressing room, ready to change out of their costumes for the show. "Leave." After entering the dressing room, Gwen threw herself into Yi Li's arms and offered a passionate kiss. "Oh, Gwen is so intimate. Aren't you too excited tonight?" The girls next to him were booing and teasing while changing their clothes. They don't mind changing clothes in front of Yi Li. Anyway, she was still wearing underwear, and the object was such an excellent and handsome man. Yi Li breathed out lightly. "Gwen, you are so dazzling tonight." "Thanks to you." Gwen stood on tiptoe and posted it again. While responding, Yi Li did not forget to help Gwen pull down the back zipper of the cosplay suit. Gwen undressed him too. With mutual assistance, they quickly changed back to regular clothes. The two of them are good at steaming, the girls look a little slimy. "Gwen, didn't you want to wear it before? Why are you so excited?" Jessica folded her arms in displeasure. "Even if you are happy now, I planned the party and performance, you should thank me." Hee. Gwen approached her with a smile and kissed her. "Thank you too, Jessica, my good friend." "Hey, Gwen." Jessica wiped her face pretending to be disgusted. "Although I have female fans, I am straight." Mary Jane covered her mouth and chuckled. "Jessica, so what is your club going to do next?" Now the next step of the club is to recruit members. This important task will be entrusted to. Jessica thought for a while and said, leave it to the vice president. Who is the vice president? Yi Li, who was in love with each other, asked casually. Jessica narrowed her eyes. Big brother, stop playing Gwen. The vice president is you. What? Only big brother, you are the most free. The next day. Ghost Spider Fan Club, membership registration. Leaning lazily on the chair, Yi Li asked, first name. Forehead. The little fat man with his school bag in his arms said anxiously, Ned leads. Peter next to him suggested hesitantly, that. Lee, we are not prisoners. The implication is, can your attitude be better? What's wrong, Peter? Yi Li raised his eyelids, still looking like he was dying. I'm not a superhero either. As he spoke, he yelled and continued, age. Peter, Ned. The buddy duo eventually ignored Yi Li's nasty attitude and became part of the Ghost Spider Fan Club. Okay, next one. Yi Li knocked on the table. A mixed-race beauty from behind stepped forward, sat down and said hello. Hi, handsome guy. Yi Li didn't raise his eyes, so he didn't see her clearly, so he said casually, name. Handsome guy, I saw your performance at the party, it was great. Oh, name, Sky. Quote. My name is Sky, is the handsome guy Yi Li. Although Yi Li seems to be more difficult to get along with than expected. But Sky still tried to talk. I heard you still have classes in school, should I call you a teacher? Sky. Yi Li sat up straight at once, sizing up the beautiful woman in front of her eyes. After confirming that the appearance was correct, he smiled, girl, are you interested in being a superhero? Seeing that Yi Li finally paid attention to him, Sky also brushed his hair and smiled. Is this a fun question and answer for joining the club? Both of them were interested in each other, and they gradually became involved in the chat. But the people who lined up behind couldn't bear it, and they all protested. Oh, Sky said embarrassedly, we seem to be outraged. She handed Yi Li a contact information, and made a phone call gesture with her hand next to her ear. Let's talk later, Li. I have an idea, you sit in the waiting area for a while. Yi Li asked Sky to wait a moment, got up and went inside the club. Inside, Peter and Ned are curiously eyeing various, Ghost Spider, themed outfits. Isn't the strong man here? Yi Li stepped forward enthusiastically. Hey, Peter, Ned, I think you have just become members of the club and you must want to show yourself well. Definitely, Li, is there anything I can do? Peter raised the camera in his hand. I can take pictures, maybe I can take pictures of ghost spiders. No, that's too dangerous, Peter, there are criminals everywhere ghost spiders appear. Yi Li patted him on the shoulder. I have a simpler and easier task for you. Oh, Ned can come too. A few minutes later, Peter and Ned, who were sitting at the member registration desk, looked at each other helplessly, and then looked at the middle-aged man who signed up. Peter. Name. Ned. Age. Phil Coulson. Because Sky, whose Shield has been paying attention to, wanted to join this club, he found time to come here, but the two young people didn't like it very much. Can this recruit members? Or is it weird? Maybe they are just wearing the name of the club, but they are actually doing other things, so they don't really want to recruit people. Well, maybe it has something to do with the ghost spider. The agent's intuition tells him he needs someone to investigate it. It's nice here, away from. Sky looked around. Yi Li took her to a high-end coffee shop to continue the chat. The overall atmosphere here is full of artistic atmosphere. The piano solo is melodious, and there are some art paintings decorated everywhere. Sky moved closer to Yi Li, and asked in a low voice, I know this may not be polite to the owner of this coffee shop, but I'm still curious, Li, do you think those paintings are real or fake? Vienna morning in bulletproof glass around the corner is the real thing. There is also the moon inside the hall, and the bat behind the front desk. Yi Li is familiar with the number of treasures, and he said, aside from these, everything else is decoration. After all, it is too stupid to put the real thing in a place like this by the window, and it will only make it easier for thieves and robbers. Worthy of being a doctor of art department. Sky took a small bite of the cherry cake in front of him, and said with a bright smile, you can know everything at a glance, it's amazing. Excellent men are always attractive, and there is no lack of admiration in her tone. Actually, the more important reason is, Yi Li waved and asked the piano-playing staff to change to a more romantic track. I opened this coffee shop. Sky was taken aback for a moment, then dug a spoonful of cake and delivered it to his mouth. You're so mean, do you want to see me joke? Well, Yi Li was about to say something. Gwen Stacy's nemesis detected nearby, Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. The enemy of Gwen Stacy's destiny, Rhinoceros, Alexei Sisevich was detected nearby. I haven't waited for him to react. A figure smashed the glass door of the coffee shop, then shook the rhino's head and rushed out again. Spider. Oh, Sky covered his mouth. I recognize it, the super criminal rhino, it was reported on the news. I think we do have to talk next time. Yi Li came to the broken glass door and looked out. I have to deal with things here first. Sky picks up her bag. Do you want to call the police? Lee, why don't you leave with me first? It's not safe here. Call the police. George can't help this kind of thing. It's up to me to save his daughter. Yi Li has already seen Gwen swinging between tall buildings in the distance. With Norman Os on a green goblin in hot pursuit, it looks like she has more than one enemy. Norman Osborn, Harry's father. As the owner of the Osborn Group, he should have been thinking about how to earn more main in the company. But the family inherited disease, so he had to find a way to solve this problem. Green Goblin serum and armor. Norman Osborn came up with the idea. But not only the effect is not good, but also let him have an evil personality. Although his original character is not very good. The ghost spider that emerged recently gave Norman Osborn a new target. If he could get a blood sample from the Spider-Woman, he might be able to improve the Green Goblin serum, which is why he is running after Gwen now. The little bug is so slippery, the stupid rhino can't reach her at all underneath. The treacherous Green Goblin quickly thought of a way, and threw a few pumpkin grenades in the densely populated area below. Ghost Spider, don't you call yourself a superhero? I see how many you can save. No, the pupils under Gwen's mask shrank, and her sensitive body drew a graceful arc in the air. She found the most suitable position, shot several cobwebs in a row to stick all the grenades, and then threw them into the air with a sudden flick. With a burst of firework blooming, the crisis of the pedestrians below was temporarily resolved. The ghost spider is facing its own crisis. Because she tried her best to save people just now, she had no time to grab the building with the cobweb, and now her figure has fallen to the ground. The rhinoceros who was chasing after him on a rampage on the street would not let this opportunity go, and rushed towards her with strides. I got you, haha. Bedbugs die. Gwen's heart was shocked. If there was only one rhinoceros, she could still dodge with agility's skill, but the Green Goblin in the sky also rushed down at the moment, and she could only dodge one of the attacks. Gwen is not doing well. Yi Li, who was floating in the air, was about to operate the bracelet when suddenly he saw a figure rushing out of an alley on one side. Judging by the figure, she is a well-proportioned woman. Wearing a metal mask on the face, a black jacket on the upper body, a simple white t-shirt in her shirt, and stretch jeans on the lower body. Her speed is far beyond ordinary people, and she shouted while running, "Ghost Spider! I will help you." The veins on Yi Li's forehead twitched. Isn't this his good sister? He also lied to me that he didn't have time to come to the club today, and his feelings also ran out to fight for justice. Jessica rushed out from the alley, knocked away the rhino with an iron mountain, and successfully resolved Gwen's crisis. Oh, it hurts. She rubbed her shoulders, bared her teeth. The rhino's armor was still very hard. Where did the brat come from? The rhino staggered back a few steps, a little surprised that Jessica's small body was so strong, even worse than Spider-Woman's. Big Rhino, your opponent is me. As Jessica said, she gave Spider-Woman a thumbs up. Ghost Spider, I'll leave the sky to you. Although she is a fledgling, she still has a clear division of labor, knowing that she can't reach the Green Goblin in the air. Jessica is not like Yi Li, who can fly after loading a template, but her flight ability needs to be developed through exercise. Gwen dodged Green Goblin's attack and responded to Jessica, "That's up to you." She saw that although this person was not wearing a uniform, judging from the behavior of knocking the Rhino Man away, he should also be a superhero. Little devil, you have found the wrong opponent. The Rhino raised his fist at Jessica with outrageous power. Leave your name, this is your last chance. Hey, Jessica kicked her legs sideways on the street lamp next to her and jumped up. Although she can't fly now, she can jump very high. I am a female knight, and I only ride silly rhinos like you. She easily dodged Rhino's punch that cracked the ground, and then landed on top of Rhino's head. It's not that difficult to be a superhero. Just when Jessica was feeling proud, she tripped over the long horns on the rhinoceros's head. Hey, hey, hey. Unsteady on her feet, she fell off Rhino's head, and the metal mask on her face fell aside. Yi Li covered his face and couldn't bear to look straight at it. It's really you, Jessica. Speaking of which, this is the first time she has fought a super criminal, and it is normal to have this result. Jessica. Gwen was taken aback when she saw Jessica's mask fall off. She was dazed, and Green Goblin seized the opportunity to control the flight skateboard and bumped into it. Oops. Gwen only had time to protect his body with one hand, and was knocked flying. The battle suit on his forearm was scratched by the spikes on the skateboard, spattering some blood. Jessica, who fell to the ground on the other side, will also face continued attacks from the rhinoceros. Yi Li's figure fell quickly, and the night spider battlesuit on his body was quickly put on, and at the same time, he tapped his wrist a few times. The multiple-choice question of which one to save first does not exist for him. Vulture, vulture, called. Green Goblin, who was about to make up the knife, heard the sound of breaking wind above his head. When he looked up, he saw a pair of wide metal claws grabbing towards him. Click. Vulture grabbed Green Goblin, its wings wrapped around him in an instant, and the two fell to the ground together. Jessica is in a daze now, not just because her mask has fallen off. How did the ghost spider call her name just now? The voice still sounds like Gwen. It turned out to be a brat. The rhinoceros will not wait for her to react, and will smash her to death if he rushes over. You should listen to your mother and stay at home, but it's too late. Mom. The words were right and wrong, and Jessica was in a daze for a moment, because her original family members had already left. Ha ha ha, I'm petrified. The rhinoceros was overjoyed. His fist was only 0.01 centimeters away from her, and in the next second he could see his brains splattering everywhere. Pong! A black fist shadow flashed. The rhino's jaw was instantly lifted by a huge force, turned 180 degrees on the spot, and fell back to the ground. Has anyone ever taught you to be polite? Yi Li flexed his wrist. This thing is quite solid, and it didn't die after being punched. Sisavici rhinoceros now only feels staring. His brain is about to be beaten, and he can't hear what he is saying at all. On the other hand, Jessica. I'm still away. I haven't repaid the big brother yet, so I won't die here. When Yi Li punched the rhinoceros, Jessica didn't pay attention to the situation in front of her and stepped back suddenly. Then he yelled like a seed. You. Don't mention other people's mothers casually, ah. She shouted, and saw the scene where the rhinoceros was being stepped on his chest. Black spider. Girl, what are you crying about? Yi Li taunted her sister mercilessly. Think you're a Super Saiyan. Jessica was embarrassed. I'm already getting emotional. Why are you like this? Did you beat it to death? She asked. Yi Li pondered. It doesn't seem to move. Why not just throw it into the river? Well, Rhino made a muffled sound in his throat, and responded in due course. The mouth under the Yi Li battle suit grinned. It's not dead, it's just right. Pong, ah, pong, ah, pong, ah. Black's figure landed unpretentious straight punches one after another, and the screams of the rhinoceros became weaker and weaker. Jessica and the common people in the distance were stunned. What is this? How can it be more vicious than a super criminal? Fist to the flesh. Cool. The dissatisfaction of being tricked into recruiting people at the club has all been vented. Yi Li didn't stop punching until the rhinoceros fell silent. Green Goblin kicks Vulture off of him. The strength of Green Goblin's serum strengthening is still strong, and this kick kicked Vulture far away. Isn't this guy the Vulture who disappeared some time ago? Why did you suddenly attack me? Norman Osborn was puzzled, until he turned his head and saw the rhino who was quickly dismantled into parts by Yi Li. I boil. What? So cruel. Norman Osborn's spirit is not normal at all, and the figure of Black has become barren in his eyes. Drink. At this moment, Gwen took Cobweb and kicked him in the face. Feng Shui turns, and this time it's Green Goblin who's lost his mind. Her kick was so strong and heavy, coupled with the inertial force of the cobweb, Green Goblin's mask was kicked off. The real face of Norman Osborn was revealed under the mask, which immediately caused an uproar from the crowd. Norman Osborn. This terrorist is the chairman of the Osborn Group, oh my god. I buy karma. They feel that they have eaten a shocking melon. Norman Osborn had a ferocious face, and he looked at Gwen with hatred in his eyes. There were many reporters in the crowd who rushed to hear the news, and quickly started to capture video, and even broadcast live. At the same time, Ghost Spider Fan Club, Harry Osborn, who just arrived, is helping to organize around the Ghost Spider. Ned, who was playing with his mobile phone, suddenly shouted, "Hey! Harry, come see this." Okay, here's one left. Yi Li, who had dealt with Rhino, landed in front of Norman Osborn, grabbed him by the neck and lifted him up, ready to grab Gwen's head. Gwen definitely won't just watch him kill his classmate's father. Black Spider, thank you for helping me again, please don't be impulsive, we should put Osborn. Click. Before she could finish her sentence, Norman Osborn tilted his head and died. Before Gwen could speak, Yi Li flew away in a flash. She stomped her feet angrily. It's like this again, can you listen to someone finish talking? Still out of style. When Gwen was thinking about Yi Li, Jessica ran up to her and asked, "Gwen, is that you?" Jessica. Gwen saw that there were already reporters flocking here, so she had to whisper, "It's me, don't make it public, I will take you away first." She hugged Jessica's waist, and the cobweb clung to a building, dangling away from the crowd. High-rise room. Jessica. My god, it's really you, Gwen. Gwen took off the hood. How is it? Surprised. Now that it's been discovered, let's be honest, Jessica doesn't look like a decent human being anyway. A few minutes later, Jessica was held in Gwen's arms, and passed by the buildings before she recovered. A lot of things happened today, Gwen. Gwen laughed. Yeah, I didn't expect you to have super abilities. Super ability. Jessica recalled the past and told it sadly. Maybe, it's the strength I gained after the car accident. The price is that all my relatives died. I never knew what to do with this ability, probably because I was lucky enough to meet my big brother and live a carefree life again. Until your appearance, Gwen, or the appearance of the Ghost Spider. If there was a hero like you on the scene when there was a car accident, the ending would be different. I thought, maybe I can also be a superhero, so that the tragedy that happened to me will never happen again. Gwen listened closely until she finished speaking and then said softly, Jessica, Lee will be proud of you. Jessica smiled when Pist heard the words, and the sad look slowly faded. Come on, I don't understand the big brother's temperament, he doesn't care if I am a superhero, if he dares to cause trouble for him, he will still beat me Pigu. Gwen found it interesting to see the contrast between before and after she mentioned Yi Li. If she hadn't met Lee, Jessica would look different now. Lee is such a gentle person. She is sincerely happy that her good friend can meet a good big brother. Time flies. Lower East Side. Hey, Jessica. Yi Li is holding a mobile phone, on which is a photo of a girl with a delicate face. I said, even if you want to be a superhero, can you be fully prepared? I don't want my peaceful life to be disrupted. Jessica, who changed into a short black silk skirt, stood obediently, her fingers crossed uneasily, and she twisted her waist intentionally or unintentionally so that her Pigu was out of the big brother's sight. Well, it was an accident, and I didn't want to. It's all to blame for that big rhino. Her eyes wandered. That's right, it's all its fault. The family has been dismantled into parts, and you still want to throw the blame. Yi Li flipped over his phone and read, ahem. According to reports, a scuffle between supercriminals and superheroes occurred in the Queen's neighborhood, blah blah blah, Black Spider and Ghost. The identity of the spider is unknown for the time being. The girl who claimed to be a female knight stumbled during the battle, and the mask was accidentally dropped. The word, stumbling, was emphasized by him. I said, can you be more stupid? Woo. Jessica pouted and acted like a baby, and answered the question, Big brother. I like you the most. Yi Li sneered, do you still want to be cute? Jessica closed her eyes and decided to give it a go. She opened her hand and threw herself directly into Yi Li's arms. Big brother, I love you. Make it or break it. Hey, small tricks. Yi Li smiled disdainfully. swung her hands around again, and Jessica was laid across her knees. Then there is the skillfully lifted pleated skirt. Ah, don't, snapped. Jessica covered Pigo and went to make dinner. Yi Li also received a call at the moment from Peter. Peter, Li, something serious happened. Did you see the news, Harry? Yi Li, Peter, speak slowly, don't worry. Peter, that's right, back in time. Ghost Spider Fan Club. What's the matter, Ned? I've got work to do, and I'm leaving when I'm done. Holding the club flyer, Harry leaned over to Ned's side. Oh, Harry, I don't know what to say, just see for yourself. Ned handed the phone over carefully. Harry took it over and glanced at it, his pupils were shocked instantly. A billionaire daddy is a terrorist. Also defeated by the ghost spider, then killed by the black spider. No, I don't believe it. It's not true. He yelled hysterically and threw the flyer out of his hand. The paper flutters like falling snow, one after another. At the same time, a BGM sounded. Snowflakes fluttering, northern wind rustling, the world is boundless. One cut of cold plums, isolated in the snow. Harry froze. Why does it always feel like the melody is mocking him? Who played the Chinese song? Ah, sorry, Gwen is listening to Chinese songs recently, and she also recommended a few songs for me. Mary Jane, who was writing the slogan with her head down, turned off the music, looked up and apologized, if you don't like it. Harry, what's wrong with you? No, Harry yelled again and rushed out the door. Harry, where are you going? Peter chased after him, only to see Harry get into his Rolls-Royce Phantom 88 and run away. Black Spider, and Ghost Spider, I won't let you go. Harry, who was driving on the road, hadn't calmed down yet. In his opinion, the Black Spider who killed his father is the murderer, and the Ghost Spider is also an accomplice. As for Norman Osborn chasing the Ghost Spider first. So what? That was his father, and it was impossible for him to face up to this problem. The driver and confidant who drove him reminded him, Master, the matter has not been clarified yet, let's rush to the scene first. Harry calmed down a bit, thinking. By the way, Jessica was also there at the time, unexpectedly she was also. She was taken by the Ghost Spider in the end, maybe she knows something. Club. Ned fell to his knees and reached out tremblingly for the war-damaged mobile phone that Harry threw out. Oh no, my love is crazy, my pocket money. Snowflakes fluttering. Mary Jane, turn off your music. Peter. Hey Ned, be gentle with the girls. ... After listening to Peter's narration, he hung up the phone. As the instigator, Yi Li, has a weird complexion. Why did he hear a happy atmosphere when it was clearly a sad thing? Big brother, that weird thing you cooked is screaming. I fiddled with it a few times but couldn't figure it out. Jessica kicked on her slippers and ran out of the kitchen in a panic. Jessica, that's called medicated diet. Let me do it. Yi Li put down his phone, went to the kitchen to tidy up a few times, and soon came out with a pot of medicinal food and a bowl in the other hand. Here, this bowl is for you, and I'm going to give the rest to Gwen. He put the bowl on the table and beckoned Jessica to come and drink. Jessica leaned down and sniffed with her pretty nose. Well, it smells weird. I don't want it, you can give it to Gwen. Don't pull it down. Yi Li also poured this bowl into the thermal pot. Jessica narrowed her eyes and glanced suspiciously at Yi Li's face. I specially cooked something weird for the two girls to drink. Li, are you planning some bad idea? I hear it is said that there are some strange herbs in the East, which can make women unable to help themselves. Yi Li glanced at Jessica. Have to say. Jessica's black short skirt, which was designed to be cute, and a kitchen scarf around her, gave people a completely different feeling from usual. Especially those slender jade legs wrapped under stockings, tisk. He thought of teasing, moved closer to Jessica, stroked her black silk with his hands, and whispered like a devil, Jessica, how about coming to my room to sleep tonight? Jessica blushed, rubbed her legs a few times, covered her pleated skirt with her hands, and said, well, that kind of thing is not good. Gwen will be angry. Yi Li squeezed the tender flesh of her thigh. It's okay, I'll just play with your legs. Leg. How could Jessica not know that she was being tricked? She slapped Yi Li's hand away and kicked him lightly angrily. Send your things away. Dee dong. The doorbell of Gwen's house rang, and Yi Li waited with a medicine pot. The door opened quickly, and Gwen's mother, Jenny, poked her head out. "Oh, Lee, come in, there's no reporter looking for you." Yi Li walked in. "The reporter hasn't come yet, but it should be sooner or later. Jessica will really cause me trouble, and I think she will move back to Sunnyvale again. There can't be a security guard here. It seems that you have also seen the news. Jessica's child is always a surprise." Jenny smiled and poured him a cup of hot drink. "George has already dealt with this matter at the scene, and he will warn reporters not to harass you." Yi Li couldn't deny it. George's identity as the chief of the New York Police Department can't stop everyone. "Gwen, I cooked her a special oriental medicinal meal, which can beautify the skin and nourish the body." He didn't say the whole thing. The more important function of this medicated diet is to replenish blood and restore scars. Beauty and beauty. Jenny became interested. "It's a magical oriental creation. Gwen is in the upstairs room. You can send it to her quickly, and she will be very happy. Let me take a bowl for you first." "Oh, how embarrassing, you brought this to Gwen. I'm sure she won't mind." The two talked in a loud voice, and Gwen upstairs heard it too, and couldn't help feeling a little annoyed that her mother was so easy to be bribed, so she sold her. How could she just let a boy into her daughter's room casually? Gwen is not wary of Yi Li. In fact, Yi Li even has a room key that she gave privately. But now, she is secretly bandaging the wound on her forearm. Although the wound has almost closed because of her special constitution, she still needs to wrap it up, otherwise the bleeding will be discovered by her family and it will be over. Here Yi Li came to Gwen's door after asking Jenny's favor, and found that the door was locked, so he knocked. "Gwen, can I come in? I brought you some food." "Lee, come in, do you have the key with you?" "Okay Gwen, here I come." Yi Li flipped through the keys in his trouser pocket, opened the door with ease and walked in. Gwen sat obediently by the bed, wearing AQ version spider pattern pajamas, long-sleeved, very cute. Yi Li jokingly read, "Oh, my little sweetheart, are you waiting for my luck?" Gwen cooperatingly gave a wink. "Not yet, Sigui Chinese." "Ha." Both of them laughed. Yi Li put the medicinal food on Gwen's writing desk, and handed her a package. "Gwen, what strange Chinese have you learned? Is it weird?" Gwen took the package with a smile. "What is this?" Yi Li spread her hands. Jessica said, "These are the sanitary napkins you asked her to bring you." Gwen was ashamed. She also heard from Jessica that she needed to get her some bandages and anti-inflammatory drugs. But what the hell was the excuse? Gwen quickly put the package behind her, looked at the medicinal food on the table, and changed the subject. "Then what did you bring to me?" she said and stepped forward to open the lid. "Although I can't read it, it looks very rich." Yi Li explained. Gwen began to eat happily. Well, Gwen is much more obedient, unlike Jessica who is picky eater. Relieved, Yi Li started chatting with her. "Something big happened today, and they have a lot to talk about." Gwen responded as she ate. "I read the news. Except for Jessica, I didn't expect the super criminal Green Goblin to have something to do with us. It turned out to be Harry's father, Norman Osborn. It's unbelievable. I think Harry's situation must be very bad now." Yi Li didn't care about this matter. Who made Norman Osborn dare to play Gwen's idea? He will take care of it. I am more concerned about whether Jessica will be entangled by reporters and relevant departments in the future. She is too careless. I am already considering whether to move back to the manor and hire more security guards to keep flies. Quote. It's not that Yi Li is overthinking it. Now is not the era when Supermans will run all over the place. The exposure of a superhero, even a fledgling superhero, will attract some people's attention. Unless there is a more eye-catching superhero exposed, people will gradually forget about Jessica. Yi Li thought of a person, that is, Iron Man, Tony Stark. He would admit his identity. I don't know if he has traveled in the Middle East, or if he has been warmly entertained by terrorists. Leaving, Gwen heard Yi Li said that he wanted to move back, and said reluctantly, "I can't bear you." "Gwen, I can't bear you too, so I'm thinking about it. Actually, Dad has recently been willing to move to a rich area. Why don't you come and live together? My house is quite big." "Dad, he won't live in someone else's house, but it shouldn't be a problem to move to your neighborhood. I'll mention it to him another day." Time passed quickly. Lonely men and widows share a room. As we talked, we naturally stuck together. Gwen. Jessica is right, the medicinal food tastes weird. Gwen coquettishly said, Woo, Lee, you actually despise me. Maybe I put too many herbs, the smell is a bit strong. Then I'll deal with it. It's okay, we can skip this step. Lee, Mom is still downstairs. Gwen refused and Yi Lee went further. But she also wanted to make up for the one she loves, so she made a crooked idea, let's change the way. Early the next morning, Director George asked his wife a little strangely, why is Gwen looking so good? Have you bought any nutritional products recently? If you have any, give me some as a visiting gift. I have to ask about Jessica. Jenny explained. It's the medicinal diet that Lee cooked for Gwen yesterday. It seems to work very well, and it's effective so quickly, but there are still some minor problems. George. Small problem. Jenny. Gwen's throat is uncomfortable. I heard from her that it's because the medicinal diet is a little bit angry. It's not a big problem. George nodded and said with a relieved smile, that's good, this young man Lee is really sensible and will love others. In the room, Yi Lee woke up from Jessica. Last night was. He remembered what happened last night. After returning from Gwen yesterday, Jessica took his words seriously and obediently got into the room. Yi Lee looked at the black silk throne by the bed, and there were indeed large traces of the opposite color on it. He also felt refreshed. This is also normal, after all, he has done charming things with 2 girls in a row. Although it is not directly that, but in a sense it is more exciting. At this time, Jessica also woke up in a daze. Big brother. She remembered some fragments from last night and shook Yi Lee's shoulder. I thought it was just a pinch to play with the legs, but I didn't expect it to be so excessive. Yi Lee said leisurely, Jessica, it's obviously you. Beast, I'm your younger sister, although I'm not your own. Ah, what are you talking about, it's me. Jessica was in the middle of cursing, and rubbed the head of sleeping fragment, hey, it seems that I was the first. But she still insisted, hey, that's because you touched me, I couldn't help it. Anyway, it's a beast. Don't say that, I didn't really do anything. Yi Lee squinted. However, he was too stimulated by Gwen, and Jessica came at the right time, and in the end. Well, in fact, it just stained Jessica's stockings. Don't be angry, I'll just help you clean the hair later, but wash the sticky spot on your leg yourself. Go away. Jessica put on her clothes and bared her teeth at him, no more. I want to buy a new one. Buy new ones. Yi Lee's eyes moved to Jessica's smooth legs, I can help you choose. Jessica shivered when she saw it, you're so disgusting. Although the door to a new world has been opened between the siblings, the 2 of them still play around and get up to wash as usual. Afterwards, George visited the house with some small gifts to find out about Jessica's situation. He reminded Yi Lee to keep an eye on her sister, and don't let Jessica run around and become a superhero. Lee, remember what I said, it's too dangerous for Jessica to get in touch with those things, don't let her mess around. Director George's meaning is very simple. The water of superhero is too deep, your sister can't handle it. No problem, George. Yi Lee gently rubbed Jessica's head. Jessica is very good, she will do as I say. Jessica sat next to her in a well-behaved posture, looking modest and teachable. But she pursed her lips secretly in her heart, and didn't listen at all. Gwen was the most famous superhero in New York during this period, and I don't know what George uncle will look like when he finds out. Come on, George, these are butter biscuits baked by Jessica. When George was about to leave, Yi Lee handed him a bag of biscuits and said with a smile, why don't you take them to the bureau and share them with your colleagues? Okay. George happily took it. Jessica has always been sensible, I think she will understand what I say. Yi Lee kept smiling, don't think she listened to anything. After sending George away, Yi Lee opened the system panel. I haven't claimed yesterday's reward yet, and killing definitely is considered a defeat. You defeated Gwen Stacy's enemy of fate, you can choose one of the following rewards. 1. Monetary reward. $1 million US. 2. Random reward. Weather control. 3. Servant reward. Transform Alexei Mikhailovich Sisevich Rhinoceros. You defeated Gwen Stacy's enemy of fate, you can choose one of the following rewards. 1. Monetary reward. 1 million US. 2. Random reward. Fresh Coke. 3. Servant reward. Transform Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. This time it was still not difficult to choose, he chose 2 and 3 respectively. While Yi Li was making a choice, the body of Norman Osborn, who was being restrained, disappeared in an instant. The person in charge was scared to death. Master, gone. Master Norman is gone. After a little while, Harry Osborn came to the coffin with a gloomy expression, call me over immediately. The other side, Rhino's body was taken away by S.H.I.E.L.D. Phil Coulson also reported the incident to Nick Fury. Do you need to send someone to contact the girl who claims to be a female knight? After facial comparison, we have found out her identity. Nick Fury said casually, well, we can send someone to investigate. He didn't think much of Jessica, she was just a fledgling girl after all. As the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., he has seen a lot of extraordinary humans, even some non-human aliens. Phil Coulson asked again, notify Natasha Romanoff. Phil Coulson, do you have any misunderstanding about our agent level? Cyclops raised his head, Natasha Romanoff has more important tasks. The information shows that this girl named Jessica Yi is just a high school student at Midtown High School. Are you going to play house with her? Phil Coulson hesitation said, but she is a Superman after all. According to the data analysis, her indexes are far superior to ordinary people, especially her strength. It is conservatively estimated that she is at least 800 pounds or more. Phil Coulson is a fan of Captain America, so he knows better that Captain America can only bench press 1,200 pounds, 545 kilograms, and clean and jerk 800 pounds, 363 kilograms. Rhinoceros Mikhailovich is even stronger, he hasn't been dismantled into parts. Nick Fury looked serious. I think we should pay more attention to that black spider. This black spider appears too rarely, and has a strong anti-reconnaissance ability. His battle suit seems to have a high technological content, which can isolate almost all information. Phil Coulson checked the information and found that there was nothing useful at all. Nick Fury squinted. There must be a relationship between the black spider and the ghost spider. Almost every time it appears, it is on occasions where the ghost spider appears. Phil Coulson thought of one thing and reported, that girl named Jessica, she opened a ghost spider fan club, I don't know if it's pure admiration or some kind of connection. In addition, Sky, who is concerned by the Bureau, also joined when I came to this club. I took a look at it before, but I didn't have time to check it carefully. Phil Coulson, are you reminding me to give you time off? That's not what I mean. Definitely, it would be nice to have a vacation. Phil Coulson rubbed his bald head. Phil Coulson will have a chance. Nick Fury drew a big cake for him, and then handed over a message. Before that, here is a task for you. All right. Phil Coulson knew he was a hard worker, so he took it without saying anything. What about the Ghost Spider Club? Nick Fury thought about it for a while, and thought of an agent. Notify Barbara and let her investigate these things. ... Time flickered again. It's been a few weeks since Norman Osborn's body disappeared. The Osborn group is in bad shape because of Norman Osborn. Harry, who is just a high school student, is hard to challenge even though he has been exposed to it since he was a child. There were serious differences in the board of directors, and a lot of power in the hands of Harry, the acting chairman, was taken away. Funding has also stalled for some of Norman Osborn's previous R&D projects, including Connor's gene transfer research in lizards. These days Peter often went to help Connors, or meet Harry at the Osborn group, and he didn't go to the club to play with his buddy Ned. But Yi Li doesn't pay much attention to these things, he is coming out of Hell's Kitchen now. Yi Li managed to catch Jin Bing here once, and educated him the principle of not littering. At the same time, some of Jin Bin's super criminals were wiped out, but Jin Bin was the only one left. Keep Jin Bin, maybe he will hire more super criminals from Spider-Man, and then there will be more brushes. The system's random rewards will never be outdated. Even a character with low combat effectiveness may be able to get some good rewards if he is lucky. Yi Li was diligent because he had tasted the sweetness of weather control from the rhinoceros before. Definitely, the news that Tony Stark disappeared in the Middle East desert 2 days ago also gave Yi Li a sense of urgency, but it is still long before the arrival of the purple sweet potato essence. Beep. Yi Li picked up the phone. Hi, Sky, what, you dropped out of school? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.